Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos issues 2 royal decrees. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed receives His Excellency Secretary General of World Tourism Organization. Tripartite talks on Iran's nuclear program resume in Muscat in anticipation of the results. Upon royal orders, state insurer councils hold a 4th annual round and the State General Budget 2014 tops the sessions. And citizens continue celebrations of the appearance of His Majesty the Sultan in good health. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has issued 2 royal decrees, Royal Decree number 59/2014, issuing amendments of some provisions of the Capital Law. Article 1 enacts amendments of the Capital Law promulgated under Royal Decree number 80/98. Article 2, this decree shall be published in the Official Gazette. Royal Decree number 60/2014 ratifies the Sultanate of Oman's joining the revised International Convention on the Simplification and Harmonization of Customs Procedures, revised Kyoto. Attached 1 ratifies the Sultan's joining the aforementioned revised Kyoto Convention's procedures of simplifications and harmonization, Kyoto revised, attached Appendix A, according to the annexed provisions. Article 2, the authorities concerned shall take procedures to join the above-mentioned revised convention and attached A, and in the line with their provisions. Article 3, this decree shall be published on the Official Gazette and shall come into effect from the date of its issue. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President José Eduardo dos Santos of Angola on his country's National Day. On behalf of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, received in his cabinet today His Excellency Dr. Talib Al-Rifai, Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, who expressed his best wishes and those of the organization to His Majesty, the government and Omani people for further progress and prosperity. His Highness expressed the Sultan's appreciation for the distinguished role being played by the organization in enhancing and strengthening cooperation with the Sultanate in the field of tourism development. His Highness also pointed to the direct encouragement accorded by His Majesty to tourism sector due to its social, cultural and investment returns, reviewing the tourism march in the country and hopes pinned on it in all aspects, especially with regard to promoting the establishment of small and medium enterprises and encouraging local industries. The talks during the meeting dealt with ways of cooperation with the international organization, especially with regard to a program aiming to develop tourism that include organizing training courses for those working in this sector, supporting the efficiency of tourism authorities and international participation through exhibitions and symposiums. For his side, His Excellency the guest expressed his appreciation of what he had seen of Oman's aspect for modern renaissance and care and attention given to tourism, affirming that the Sultanate, with its wise leadership, occupied an outstanding position and enjoys respect and appreciation from the world countries due to his contribution in enhancing international understanding among people. He pointed out that the organization is keen to cooperate with the Sultanate, which has promising tourism potentials. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Ahmed bin Nasser Al-Mahrazi, Minister of Tourism, and Omar Abdul Ghaffar, Regional Manager for Middle East at the organization. Upon royal directives, State Insurer Council held the 4th annual convening round for the current term today. More details in the following report by Saif bin Khalfan Al-Kindi.
The opening of the 4th round in the State Council witnessed today an approval for the proposal of private and public libraries suggested by Information and Culture Committee, beside the suggestion of revising the role of civil society associations in terms of cultural affairs. During the session, His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz al-Mandri, Chairman of State Council, addressed a speech emphasizing the importance of new traffic law that will be widely discussed during the next sitting. There was also an approval for the proposal raised by the Committee of Education regarding establishing a national center for virtual and electronic learning resources. On the other hand, the Shura Majlis inaugurated the fourth round with a speech addressed by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal al-Mawali, Chairman of Shura Council, who emphasized the importance of using the legislative and auditing tools in practicing the members' roles. Meanwhile, there was an intensive discussion for the State General Draft Budget 2015 and its details. Furthermore, the Shura members were briefed on the amendment of 3 laws, such as the drugs law, the engineering and consultancy offices, and the proposal of solidarity insurance and its implications. Well, a couple of issues have been discussed in the opening of the fourth round this year. The economy and development matters were the key point of today's session. In fact, this year, the Omani society expect more intensive efforts from both Shura and State Councils. Saib bin Khalfan al-Kindi for English News, Muscat.
The third tripartite talks between the United States, Iran and the European Union, being hosted by the Sultanate, resumed today in Muscat for the second successive day at Al Bustan Palace Hotel. Observers stressed that progress took place, which they described as significant in some outstanding issues among the participating parties during the first day of talks. John Kerry, Jawad Zarif and Catherine Ashton held a round of talks described as positive in order to reach a pact that end a years-long crisis on Iranian nuclear program before the deadline for final pact on 24th of November. Social media channels interacted with the nuclear tripartite talks convened here in Muscat. They stressed the importance of these talks in deciding the future path of Iranian nuclear file. Over 2 days, followers continued to cover details of Muscat's nuclear talks and highlight officials' statements and observers' analysis. Journalists at the media center reported developments of the talks directly via media channels, which made the Sultanate on top for electronic search. The Oman Forum 2014 was held at Grand Hyatt Hotel, Muscat today under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid Taimur bin Asad Al Said, Assistant Secretary General for International Cooperation of Research Council. More details in the following report by Rabia Al Mirza.
Under the patronage of the Ministry of Manpower and Central Bank of Oman, Oman Forum involved the relevant stakeholders of the economy and society and was aimed at contributing to the decision-making on critical management and policy issues.
Well, in fact, this was discussed in this forum. I think there's probably people think it's a challenge to work in the private sector. I don't think there's anything can stop someone serious who's looking for a career development. Private sector environment is a business oriented. Lots of challenges are there, the office hours, the targets which we assign to the people over there. It's a challenge, but at the same time it's a rewarded one. I mean, because I'm just talking about the financial sector where I'm coming from, because there was a clear strategic design, a clear path was designed from the beginning, rewarding system, career development system. Therefore, the Omanis been encouraged to join the financial sector. Where I'm talking about the Omanization, the banking sector already, more than 90+% of the people who work in the banks are Omanis. Again, it's a challenging sector. You need a very specialized qualification. You need a specialized people with this experience. Whereas we can look to our neighbors, none of the banks in the region, actually they reached 15% of their localization. So I think there was a will, there was a plan, there's a regulators like the Central Bank of Oman, the CMA played a major role to make sure that this happened. There was a specialized institute being created. So people, they go into a train and they've been brought into the environment.
Officials officials from the relevant ministries, as well as around 200 strong audiences representing the senior and middle-level leadership of government and private sectors, took part in the forum.
Is to see how we can improve in creating jobs in Oman. This is a subject that is very, very wide, and it does not concern only one ministry or one stakeholder. It involves the whole society. And therefore, we have to be practical and pragmatic. We do not expect that such a forum would give huge answers. However, its benefit is great. It is great because there are many representatives of the various sectors who listen to each other, or they talk, they present their problems, and the other party is listening. Lots of criticism came to the private sector, for example. And one question starts coming, where is the private sector to start with? Of whom are we talking? How is it organized? Is it under the Chamber of Commerce? Is it under the sectorial committees who primarily are concerned with enhancing the Omanization in the private sector?
Oman Forum 2014, a one-of-its-kind discussion platform, will bring together a broad spectrum of community stakeholders to share perspective and ideas to meet the challenges facing the economy and society at large.
As a responsible media company in Oman, it has always been on the endeavor of United Media Services to create certain platform, either through the magazines or through the events as well, where the relevant stakeholders of the society and the economy could come together. They can share views and information about subjects which are important for the development and the growth of the society and the businesses as well. Oman Forum is one annual event which we have been doing for the last 3 years, where we bring in the relevant stakeholders from the Ministry of Manpower, Central Bank of Oman, from the leading private sector players as well. We also bring in, say organizations or institutions like the trade unions, or let's say, social think tank as well. They come together on a common platform. They discuss about the relevant issues.
It discussed mainly on providing job opportunities for the youth and create a suitable environment for work, in addition to study the challenges facing Islamic banking. This is Rabia Al-Mirza for English News.
Still to come in News Bulletin. Music shows by military music bands was held in Royal Opera House, Muscat. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council held its 4th meeting of the year, headed by His Excellency Darwish bin Ismail al-Blushi, Minister responsible for Financial Affairs and Chairman of the Council. The Council discussed during its meeting oil prices development and its impacts of the State General Budget and the precautionary measures to be taken to enhance the state financial situation and sustainability of the public spending in the oil prices decrease to save the country financial situation through reviewing government spending priorities and the suggested alternatives to expand non-oil revenue base. Support basics and controls which provided by the government for various fields were also discussed. The Council decided to hold another meeting before the end of the next month to follow up oil prices developments. National Committee for Road Safety stressed that death and injuries caused by road accidents decreased in the Sultanate until the beginning of this month compared to the same period last year. It came during the committee meeting today, which discussed the project of traffic law amendment and establishing road safety institutes in the governorates. Results of the British laboratory report for transport researchers on studying aspects related to road safety in the Sultanate were also discussed. His Excellency Lieutenant General Hassan bin Muhsin bin Salim Ashriqi, Inspector General of Police and Customs and Chairman of the National Committee for Road Safety, headed the meeting. The Ministry of Civil Service held a ceremony to mark the appearance of His Majesty the Sultan. Employees of the ministry expressed their feelings of loyalty and cordiality for the builder of Oman's Renaissance, asking Almighty Allah to sustain him in good health. Citizens of the Vilayat of Shinas in the Governorate of North Al-Batna held a procession of allegiance consisting of traditional Omani arts and songs. Poets of the Wilayah presented their poems or expressed their happiness on this precious occasion. Evening processions prevailed on the streets of the Vilayat of Sohar in the Governorate of North Al-Batna, rejoicing His Majesty's good health. Citizens of the Wilayah carried pictures of His Majesty and flags of the Sultanate and cheered his name. Processions of the Wilayat of Suwaiq consisted of Al-Azzi and Ras arts. Citizens of the Wilayat wore flags of the Sultanate and presented patriotic poems. Citizens of the Wilayat of Bukha also celebrated this occasion. They repeated cheers of loyalty and gratitude in their procession and prayed to Almighty Allah to bestow upon His Majesty with health and long life. Citizens of the Vilayat of Lank in the Governorate of Lahira showcased their joy in procession throughout their villages, cheering His Majesty's name and asking Almighty Allah to return him safe to his homeland. Also in the village of Shafa in the Wilayat of Iski, the citizens presented traditional songs while carrying photos of His Majesty the Sultan and flags of the Sultanate as they walked throughout the village. Exchanging views in the field of tourism sector support top topics in the meeting between His Excellency Ahmed bin Nasser al-Mahrazi, Minister of Tourism, and His Excellency Dr. Talib Al-Rifai, Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, WTO. During the meeting, the role of WTO in developing tourism industry, the related sectors and ways of enhancing the joint cooperation aspects between the Sultanate and the organizations were discussed. The meeting aimed to benefit from the organization's experiences through the project of Omani Tourism Strategy 2015-2045. Omani Cancer Association in the Governorate of Dakhiliya celebrated its 5th anniversary, which was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Khalifa bin Hamad Al-Saadi, Governor of Dakhiliya, reflected the active role by the association in uplifting awareness level of cancer disease. The association aimed to provide support for patients with cancer, increase awareness in the methods of protecting from it. The event witnessed visitors from various society segments who came to enhance their humanity role. Royal House, Muscat organized the first military music shows coinciding with the Sultan's celebration of 44th National Day. It was presided over by His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Said, advisor of His Majesty the Sultan. The show witnessed participation of various music bands from different military forms in the Sultanate, winning international and participation from Britain, New Zealand and Scotland. The medley of military music and shows, in addition to music inspired by Omani arts heritage and jazz, were played in this celebration. The third-day events witnessed huge audience, which reflected various cultures of the participant countries. This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty the Sultan issues 2 royal decrees. On behalf of His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Saeed receives His Excellency Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization. Tripartite talks on Iran's nuclear program resume in Muscat in anticipation of the results. Upon royal orders, state and shura councils hold a 4th annual round and the State General Budget 2013 tops the sessions. And citizens continue celebrations of the appearance of His Majesty the Sultan in good health. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, thanks for your company. Good night.